Hi, my name is Shaily Shah. I'm a senior regulatory consultant in Medical Device Academy, and today we will learn is my product a medical device. Let's look at the FDA's definition of a medical device. The FDA defines medical device as an instrument, apparatus, implement, machine, contrivance, implant, in vitro reagent, or other similar or related article, including a component part, accessory, or a software which is intended for use in the diagnosis of disease or other conditions, in the cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease, in the structural support or modification of the body, or for detecting, measuring, restoring, correcting, or modifying the structure or function of the body. Now that we saw FDA's definition of medical device, let's take a look on how do I determine if my product falls under this definition. For that reason, I have broken down into simple steps, as you see on this slide. First step is determine what is the intended use of your product. Second, clearly state the general purpose or its function. Third, define what disease or condition the product will diagnose, cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent. Fourth, define the intended patient population this product is intended for use. Fourth, what claims do you intend to make? Now, let's take a look at the different categories of medical devices and a category which does not fall under medical devices. The first category, that is traditional medical devices. The definition of this we already saw on slide number 2. Examples include syringes, MRI scanner. Second category is software as a medical device. Examples include an app to treat anxiety, an X-ray or image processing software that includes an algorithm to make a clinical diagnosis. The definition of SAMD is that a software intended to be used for one or more medical purposes that perform those purposes without being part of a hardware medical device. The third category is in vitro diagnostics or IVD. Examples include genetic screening kit, popular brand is 23andMe, at-home STI kits under the popular brands Everlywell, Let's Get Checked, and other brands that are available in the stores. The definition of IVD is that the reagent, instrument, and systems intended for use in the diagnosis of disease or other conditions collect, prepare, and examine specimens taken from the human body, can be used in laboratory, healthcare, professional setting, or at home. The last category is the wellness and general purpose tools. Examples include mindfulness app, fitness tracker app. FDA has defined this tool under their guidance. I've included the link here in the slide. As per the definition, the product needs to meet the two factors. The first factor is that the product are intended for general wellness use only, which is defined in the FDA guidance, and it presents a very low risk to users' safety. Now that we saw FDA's framework on defining the medical devices and categories, let's take a look at the case study on how to determine if this product is a medical device or not. As an example, I have used a wearable device or a watch. In the product 1, this watch is intended to use to track steps, sleep, heart rate for fitness goals. Product number 2, this product is intended to record and display ECG to detect cardiac arrhythmias. Now that I have defined intended use of two products, I'm now going to go to the FDA's classification database and I'm going to search for the disease that I have defined in the intended use for product number 2, that is cardiac arrhythmias, and I'm going to see if any device that comes up which is defined as a medical device or not. When I search for cardiac arrhythmias, you can see on the image right-hand side, it gives me 7 results. Now, out of the 7 results, I'm going to take a look which device fits closer to the intended use of my product number 2. Based on that, I have highlighted product code QDA, which fits closer to the intended use of product number 2. And in this QDA, you can see, besides that, it also defines what to be the product's regulation number. It also defines the regulatory classification of the device, which is class 2. Now that we did simple exercises of defining the intended use, searching on the FDA's classification database, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to answer all the questions that we saw on a previous slides based on the FDA's framework. The first question I'm going to ask is it intended to diagnose, cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent disease in a human? Product 1, no, because it is only for the fitness goal. Product number 2, yes, because we defined as that it is going to record and display ECG. Second question, is it intended to affect the structure or any function of the body? Both of the products will be no in this. Does this achieve its primary intended purpose by chemical action or by being metabolized? Again, both of the answers will be no in this case because both are software. Is there an existing product classification? Yes, for product number 2, as we just saw on the previous slide. Is the product regulated as a medical device? Yes, we just saw that the product number 2 was classified as class 2 in the FDA's classification database. Let's take a look at some misconceptions versus reality. The first misconception. If it's just a software, it's not a medical device. Well, in reality, we just saw FDA's definition for a software as a medical device. FDA still regulates that if it impacts diagnosis, treatment, or monitoring. Second, we are just in a beta phase, so FDA doesn't apply it. Even MVPs or beta must comply if it's used on humans with medical intent. Beta doesn't mean it is exempt. We are not diagnosing, just providing insights. If your insights influence clinical decisions, it's still a regulated claim. We are not regulated because we sell directly to consumers. FDA regulates based on the intended use of the product and not whom you sell to. So even if you sell directly to the consumer, it might fall on a medical device. We are just collecting data, not interpreting it. If your app analyzes, interprets, or visualizes health data, it could be a medical device. We will figure out FDA later when we scale. In reality, late stage regulatory planning can lead to costly delays with time and money. So start early to align with the product design. If we don't say diagnose or treat, we are safe. Well, in reality, as we just saw the definition, FDA looks at the function and actual use, not just your language. So even implicit claims still count. I hope you liked my presentation. If you are a startup founder or anyone who is building a product or has a product and would like to determine if your product is a medical device or not, or would like any assistance with regulatory or quality system, you can feel free to contact me. My contact details are on this slide. You can even schedule a meeting with me using the link that is on this slide. Thank you.